Hey everybody, it's Dan Schwester.
And Tracy Canella.
And we know everybody's taken a big hit with the news that's been coming down. We've got a lot of things to do in the next couple months to get ready for the next step in whatever comes our way. So the reason for this this live cast, what we're doing on this video, is to kind of give you an idea what to expect going into the interview phase. Some of you haven't interviewed in a long time. Give you some tips and tricks, discuss how to dress, what to look forward to. We both have some management experience. You have a little more than I do. Yours was a little more successful, but hey, whatever. So we're just going to talk about some things and hopefully allay some of the fears out there and some of the worries, and hopefully everybody's going to land in a good spot. So, where do we start?
First, for all of you guys on a personal, very heartfelt notice or words from my heart to you guys, you need to take a breath because everything is going to be fine. So, I am a firm believer that I know sometimes we don't all like each other, but we're all family, and we're only as strong as the weakest portion of our family. So we need to make sure that everybody is as strong as they could be to be able to put their best foot forward, because I have 100% faith in every one of you that you're going to make a fantastic paramedic regardless of what patch you wear, because regardless of the one on the one side, we all have the same patch on the same sleeve. So that being said, we're getting a lot of questions, especially me, with what do I do? I haven't interviewed in over 10 years. The last interview I had was when I came to work for Monarch.
Yeah, that's a common thread.
It's a very common
people,
thread.
For better or for worse, a lot of people have been in Monarch for a long time.
Right.
And this is their first foray out into the job market. So let's talk about the first thing. Let's talk about resumes. And we're going to put it up on the screen. Anybody who has a resume or a CV that they need to get polished or edited, or any feedback on whether you're doing whether it looks good or whether it's not. One of our former medics, Alexis Donoso, is an HR professional. She's been offering to look at these things and proof them for people and give you suggestions. So if that's something you need, I want you to go to you can send the email to pr.overrunproductions@gmail.com. That way she can take a look at it, she can give you some feedback, and hopefully allay some of your worries about that stuff.
So, speaking of the resume thing, I kind of found it refreshing almost. How many people from our past, from Monarch's culture, from the early 80s up to present, have actually reached out to Dan and I to say, I have experience with this, I want to help, how do I help? And the first thing that continually comes up is a resume. And a lot of people don't really understand in a corporate culture why a resume, or a good resume, more importantly a CV, is so important. Why do you think that a resume, as being an administrator, what do you look to on a resume? Why do you think it's so important to a prospective employee?
It just shows you a whole history, and it has these key phrases of matching up with the job description, what you're looking for, talents that you have, skills that you can apply. Even now there's some computer software that HR departments are using that will look for certain terms and keywords, key phrases. So those are important. So a good resume is important. Please make sure it's legible. Use a good font. No gimmicks. Just
Times New Roman with the 14 font is perfect. And I can tell you from having looked at resumes, that's usually the most appropriate thing. I don't have to put my glasses on with the 14 font. But resumes...
Arial, Helvetica,
yeah, something very
simple and
clean,
business-like.
classic typewriter, no script, please. But having looked at many resumes, I can tell you that sitting across the table from someone is fine. You can sit and ask questions. They can give you all the right answers in the world. But when you put a group of resumes down in front of you, and you can correlate the picture, the interview, the oral interview, with the resume, that resume is going to bring things to light that may not have come out in your interview. So a good, clear, clean resume that is relatively short is probably one of the most valuable assets as a potential employee that you could have.
Yeah, and it's not hard. If you have a Microsoft machine, Word has templates, Apple has templates and pages. It's really easy stuff, guys. It's not hard to do.
It's not hard. There's a lot of online
And again, if you
platforms
need help or something, you can reach out to
us.
us, reach out to Alexis, and we'll get you on the right about.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the next step. So you did your resume, everything worked out fine. You got called for the interview. So now what?
Well, once you get the email or the phone call that you've been offered an interview, which most of us will be at this point. So once you get that, you should now be on to the next phase. So I call it my game phase. I'm already planning what steps 2 through 6 are going to be. What am I going to wear? I have a power color. What color looks good? What do I have to do the day of to prepare myself? And what am I going to look for? I want to have an idea what questions are going to be asked of me, what my potential employer is going to look for me to be doing, what roles I'll be fulfilling, and I'm going to now get myself prepared by figuring out what's the best way for me to walk in that door.
Right. You want to be confident. You want to have some a little bit of swagger, but not too much. You want to be ready for this.
Well, there's a difference, and I've said this, and you've said this, and I've said it to a lot of my students. There's a very big difference between confidence and cocky. A confident person is going to walk in the room with a smile on their face, knowing that any questions that are going to come out of their prospective employer are going to be met with a very solid, confident answer that I know the answer to this because, and here is my answer, versus cocky, or of course I know that answer. So we want to separate the two and walk in with some confidence.
Right. And the next thing you want to do is you want to do your homework. If you're interviewing for a program or if you're interviewing for a job, whenever you go into there, you want to know the place. So you want to do some internet searches. You want to be able to talk to some of the things that they've done, some of the things that they focus on that are important to how they operate. If they have a mission statement, you should probably know the gist of it. You don't have to regurgitate it, but you should know what they think is important and how you fit into those plans. The next thing that I see, like good interview subjects ask questions. They come in with questions. When that's not the cue for you to get up and leave.
Correct.
Like if you have when they ask if you have questions, they want to see how engaged you are. They want to see how interested you are in being a part of the job.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'll tell you why. Because the underlying thing I'm continually hearing from these the companies that have reached out to me over the last week are, we want to see your level of engagement. We want to see your level of excitement with coming to work for Project A or Project B or even C, D, or E. We want to see how engaged you are. We want to see how you interact from the time you hit the door. Are you polite? Do you have a smile on your face? Or are you walking in with this puss, I'm here because I have to be because I need a paycheck? No. They want to see how engaged you are and how much you do want to come work for their agency.
Yeah, absolutely. Engagement is important. Be enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
This is, look at it as an opportunity for you to show them why you want to be a part of the organization. Along with doing your homework, have copies of your resume. It's always good, little paper, folder covers are really cheap at Staples. You have 5 or 6 extra copies. Whoever's in the room, walk in, shake their hand, hand them a copy of your resume so they don't have to look through a pile for it. Those are little things that matter.
I have found when I walk into an interview process, and I've been that person for over 10 years, where employers or prospective employers of people looking for supervisory positions in management of mobile healthcare have called me and said, hey, will you come in and interview? Because they want to have someone who's established in an interview process to kind of set the bar for where the interview should be. My personal preference when I do that is when I come in, I not only have a hard copy, and by hard copy I mean good solid bond paper with my resume, and then I have underneath, I have at least 3 letters of recommendation from a personal and a professional and someone who's from that agency I should say a hospital system I don't work for, that can say, hey, she's here, she's really great, and we would like you to take a look at her.
Yeah, that's good. References are always important, whether you do it where you actually have the letters in your hand or you have a contact person that can say to you, that you can say, listen, absolutely, please call these people, please talk to them briefly.
Absolutely.
Take 5 minutes, you're going to find out what a great candidate I am. This will also help you. I mean, look, everybody's had the pothole in the road, everybody's had their bad experiences, and sometimes if you're able to maintain a connection to somebody from that pothole,
correct, right,
it does help. You know, because you can say, hey, look, it didn't work out, but I have a reference from that era, that era that would like to speak to you. You know, I always like shaking hands before and after. You know, stand up, thank them for coming in. You know, thanks for the opportunity. It's just a good practice. And smile. You want to seem relaxed. I know you're stressed, but you want to seem like you're relaxed and you're happy to be there. If you're looking, like Tracy said, if you're looking at it as, I just got to get this done,
right,
that's going to reflect. So don't do that. Just smile and breathe and relax. And we're actually going to have a stress relief thing that we're going to do. We're going to do that. The channel is going to have a couple more shorts on how to do some breathing exercises to get yourself calm while you're sitting in that room, in your suit or whatever you're wearing, you know, getting nervous, worrying about when they're going to call you in. But we'll get to that later. So let's talk about some don'ts in the interview process, because we see them all the time. And people do it without thinking they're doing it, and it's really, really grating. So what are some don'ts?
So the first thing I'm going to tell you as a former administrator is we pay attention to everything. We pay attention to not only your social media footprint, we pay attention to how you interact with everybody from the time you walk in the door. But the big thing is, and it needs to be made very well aware, if you show up on time for your interview, you're late. You want to get there early. Get there early. I'm here. I want to know, you know, I'm early. I'm here. I want to do this, and I'm going to show you.
Yeah, 15 minutes is what we're talking about. You don't have to be there when the place opens. But
if you're early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late. That's how you have to look at it. Okay?
Absolutely.
Do you agree?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. All right.
What's another don't? What are some other don'ts that you see?
I would say a lot of mine when I see people come walking in and they have, like, we already said this affect that I'm here for the paycheck. In actuality, that's what we're there for. However,
no lie.
Correct. Right. So we need to don't lose sight of the fact that we are in mobile healthcare, and it is a very customer-centric process and place of employment, I guess is a good way to put it, right? Yeah. So what they're seeing and how they're doing it and what they're seeing us do is really super important. It's stuff you guys do every day. You walk in, you introduce yourself, you say hello to a patient, you're providing a service, and you then do the same thing. These guys are doing the same thing. They've all been in your shoes at some point, but just try not to walk in with I'm here and I don't want to be here, but I'm here attitude. And everybody's seen me roll my eyes. It's not a pretty thing, I can tell you.
Yeah, gang. I mean, just think about it this way. You do this every day. You've probably, on a shift, introduced yourself to probably 100 people you've never seen before and you'll never see again. From the person at the coffee, when you go to get your coffee, to the person that you get the gas from when it's the end of shift, to all the people you interact with in the hospital. This is something that's in your wheelhouse. You can do it.
Absolutely.
Okay? One of the things that gets me is fidgeting.
Yes.
You know, fidgeting, don't scratch, don't fidget, don't pick at your nails, don't pick at your teeth.
Yes.
You know, sit there, get a good posture. You want to sit up straight. Don't slouch in the chair. You know, I usually just keep my hands in my lap here. I'm a demonstrative person, so I talk with my hands, and I'm okay with that. But if you're not doing something, you know, don't be, you know, that's unnerving.
Right. It's very distracting to the person who's asking the questions of you, whether they're a written question or it's stuff that's done on the fly, to have you doing this, or clicking the tip of your pen, or shaping your leg while you're in an interview is very distracting, and it's going to kind of make me be like, okay, please stop. So that's going to take away, that's going to detract from my asking and or receiving information from you. What the right kind of information is what you have to say, what makes you a better candidate than candidate B. I think that's a very good, avoid the distractor factors. That's a very big way.
So those are some of the don'ts. It's not hard to ace an interview. It's not hard to do well in an interview. It's just this mental block we have over it because you're worried, you want the job, you're nervous about the future. They get that. But play it to your advantage. One of the big things that just gets me, and it's a huge pet peeve for me, sitting in on interviews in the past, is dressing the part.
Correct.
So can we talk about, just take 5 or 10 minutes, let's just talk about dressing, why it's important, what you should wear to an interview, what does business attire mean, what is business casual? You know, people who haven't been in the job market or who work in a uniform service, we don't We don't do this.
Correct.
So let's talk about that.
Okay, so for men, obviously, when you have a gentleman who walks through the door, a prospective employee wants to sit down and have an interview with you, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go right to their eyes and assume the roll of their face, the shape, and how well groomed they are, and then you're going to go to the rest of it, right? You want to see how well put together you are. Now, we're used to getting up in the morning and we put our undershirts on, we put our uniform shirts, we put the pen in the pocket, we put the badge on, we put the belt on, we put the blue pants on, and we make sure our shoes are on, and we walk out looking relatively presentable, right?
Sure.
So that's not what they're looking for. They want to see that you understand and they've put this out multiple times, that you're dressed business casual. So business casual for a man would probably be khakis, a belt. I'm going to suggest, please, don't wear a short sleeve button-down collared shirt with a tie. Please don't do that. If you don't have access to a long sleeve shirt with a tie, ask us. We'll be able to get you in touch with somebody who can get it. For women, would either be a skirt that is at least 2 fingers above your knee, and or slacks, a belt, and preferably as well as a button-down
Right.
shirt.
Not the time to dress like you're going out to the club or anything like that.
Now, for your prospective interviews, you're going to be doing practical applications. You're not only going to be doing a verbal exchange of information of why, but you're going to be doing some hands-on stuff. So make sure you dress appropriately. Wear something professional, clean, that's easy to move around in. But for women, try to avoid really super high heels, because you're going to be working on a sim man or a dummy. You might be crawling around on the floor doing some type of CPR or compressions. So if you have flats or boots that are not going to come off your feet easily, that's probably something that I would recommend that you do.
Yeah, for guys, a good outfit, I think, and something that I'm planning on doing is I'm going to be wearing casual dress pants, like a long sleeve shirt, and I'll probably have a jacket on with an open collar. That way you look professional, you look businesslike. But if I have to do things, I can obviously just take that off, just take the jacket off if I need to, and just operate that way. Shoes are important. If you're going to wear shoes that should be shined, shine them.
Please.
People notice this.
Right.
Nothing looks worse than having worn shoes or just torn, looking all ate up. If you need new shoes, it's a good investment. Go out and get them. There are cheap places you can get something that works for the occasional use. Rubber soles probably better than leather soles, just because you're going to be if you're in a position where you're going to be doing practical stuff, you want to be able to do that. Again, polish your shoes. I mean, it doesn't have to be spit shine. This isn't the police academy or ranger school, but you do have to have them shined and not dirty or scuffed up. Some things don't wear pocket pants. Don't wear cargo pants. I've seen people wear cargo pants and like a short sleeve shirt. I've seen people wear sneakers in an interview. Don't do that.
I've had people show up in cargo pants and their squad polos, and there's a place for that, and that's fine.
Don't be that. Don't be them.
That is not something a corporate executive wants you to see when you're interviewing for a job where you're going to be walking into the sickest people's homes. So they want to see that you're just as much a professional when you're off duty as when you are on duty.
As a rule, don't wear anything with logos. Don't wear anything ostentatious. Subtle colors. Everybody's got their little power thing that they like to wear, but it should be muted. It shouldn't be don't go with the screaming red suit. Don't go with the really loud pattern. Generally, if it's a business interview, dark suit, you can make it pop a little with a tie, but don't go too crazy. This isn't the time to go off.
I agree.
And ladies, same thing. You want to give that business-like professional appearance. It's really important, because decisions usually get made in the first 7 seconds. I don't want to put pressure on you, but that's a good thing, because if you walk in and you've got this down and you're comfortable, or you look comfortable and you can play the part, you're a long way to a successful interview.
Well, there's a saying that we say, and I've been saying it for over 20 years. I had a paramedic preceptor, Steve Grunling, who's a CRNA now, and he's up at Sloan Kettering. And he used to say to me, he said, Tracy, it doesn't really matter what you are wearing. He says, as long as you walk into a scene and you look good doing what you're doing, nobody's going to question you.
No, I agree.
So just look good doing what you're doing. Like we all know you can. It's very easy to do because we're in a uniform every day. So you're just used to being dressed for success a different kind of way, I should say.
Yeah, a couple little other tricks. Gum or mints beforehand, always a good thing. Chew a piece of gum. It tends to calm you down a little bit because you're not you're thinking about other stuff. Make sure you swallow it.
I was just
get
going to
rid
say,
of it
please
before
get rid
you
of
go
the
in
gum before you
Yeah,
walk
don't walk in
into
cracking gum or blowing a bubble.
No, I would do that.
But it's good for, make sure your breath's fresh. You want to hydrate a little bit. You don't want to overhydrate. You don't need to take a bathroom break during the interview. On the morning of, you don't want too heavy of a meal. You want to have some protein. You want to have some good fats. Not a ton of carbs because you don't want to crash out and be tired.
I would avoid carbohydrates at all costs before that. So have something good with protein. Have a banana. Have some orange juice.
Right.
Have a bagel. Have some eggs and some bacon. Try not to completely overload yourself with carbs. That's a conversation for another day. But definitely you're better off with protein, just a little bit of carbohydrates because you want to be bright and alert and cognizant so you can have the ability to have a good, clear, cognizant discussion.
Right. And along that, the night before is really important.
Yes, I agree.
Actually, the night before is important. Make sure you're getting adequate sleep.
Yes.
Make sure you're hydrating the days before that. And the other thing, too, is you might think it'll help you. Don't drink the night before. If you're going to use alcohol, stay away from alcohol the night before. You don't want to be tired. It's
not even a tired thing. So we've had issues before when people sit across the desk from us for interviews where you can actually smell it coming off their person because that's their way of coping. And again, that's a conversation for another day because we do better. See what I did there? But
nice
listen,
plug.
It was good. Yeah, right. So, but
you may know we have a podcast.
We do actually. I don't. He does. So, if part of your way is compensating with alcohol, maybe try not to do it as much or as often as you do the night before because we all know this because we've walked into those calls at 3 o'clock in the morning. You can smell it. And you don't want that to be the first thing that your prospective employee smells. I've had it. I've had it before. It's very embarrassing.
You definitely want good sleep. Believe it or not, the studies show with alcohol you don't sleep as well as you think you do, and it won't help you in the interview. Okay, I'm not saying that it's wrong, and I'm not saying that you make bad choices. That's not the point. What we're getting at is this is a system for success. This is you buying into. Look, this is what you're training for. This is what you're practicing for. This is your time to shine. You don't want to get anything to interfere with that.
It's also like I get it. Like I genuinely, as a human, my outlet with dealing with work has become exercise and triathlon, and everybody laughs at me for it. But that's my way of outletting. But I can genuinely say that since this happened, I haven't really been able to sleep. I haven't, and that's just me. But I don't drink alcohol, so I don't really have an outlet. But I have found that if you can find a way to try to get some sleep the night before and even the night before, so 2 nights before, that's probably the best way to do. And I get it. It's been very difficult to do because of all the what ifs that are out there right now.
Oh yeah, it's look, we're all in the same boat. We're all in a really uncharted territory here, and nobody has ever really experienced this. Some of the people who have gone through this with other programs have not had it happen the way it did. And that's a discussion for another time. That's not what we're here for. Our goal here is to help as many people out as who need help to get where they want to be so that they can be happy and good clinicians and go ahead and move ahead. And that's what we want to do. We want to finish out well. We want to be strong, and we want to move on to the next phase, whatever that is, as strong and confident as possible.
I agree. I think everybody prepares for their interviews. You need to be cognizant. There are still some people out there who have not gotten offered interviews yet. Try to be patient and understanding, and try to not be like, well, I got an interview. And when you do see somebody or you talk to a coworker or a friend that you work with works at this agency, there's 320 of us that are all in the same boat. reach out to them, make sure that they're okay. Make sure that they know that you're there for them. Everybody's been doing their own thing. We have a great social media network now going. There's this just ridiculous, really, really good open dialogue. But my mom used to say, always just look to the helpers. There's going to be people out there that'll help you, regardless of what the situation is. That's why we're here. It was I bleed for my coworkers. I always have. I might, people, whatever, however they feel about me, but and I don't care if I haven't spoken to you 5 minutes or 5 years from now ago. I'm still going to bleed for you, and I'm going to still help pick you up. If I can help in any way, shape, or form, if you need help with your resumes, Dan can put some more information out to where you go. If you have questions,
it'll be at the bottom of the screen.
We're going to start compiling lists
We'll have a couple more of these
answers and stuff for how people can get in touch with the right people if you feel like you want to do it, which is why Dan came up with this. You can do it on your own, the privacy of your own home.
Sure.
When you're making breakfast for your kids, or you're getting ready to go to work, or you can listen to us in the car on the way home. I mean,
Right.
I could literally sell a ketchup ice pop to a woman in white gloves. I could talk all day long.
I've never heard it quite that way, but yeah, I mean, we're going to do a couple more of these during the time while we're transitioning. And if this helps, that's great. If you have ideas, if there's somebody out there that has a talent or is willing to contribute, we're all in this together.
Right.
We're all a team, and like I said, we're gonna, we want to work hard until it's over. We want to leave on a good account. We want to be, good teammates. It's funny how in the last couple of weeks, I think that this organization has come together even more than I think it ever has.
I agree. It's
sad.
very interesting because
it's sad, but it's odd.
It is sad, but it's not. It's actually kind of refreshing because there's always been a divide in the company. There's always been a divide in the company, and I think it's kind of nice because I think that everybody's starting to realize, and I've said this, I've put it out there, I've put my heart out on my sleeve for everybody, that we are all we have. That's it. It's just us. And if no one else is going to step up and take care of us, then it's our responsibility to step up and take care of each other. And like I said, if you see somebody who's struggling a little bit, who's not really coping well, reach out to somebody, okay? Reach out to me. My phone number is out there. Reach out to Dan. Reach out to any one of us. If you need help, we're going to get you help. It doesn't matter if it's with the interview process. It doesn't matter if it's with life skills. It doesn't matter what it is. Please, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
We're
Danny and I were
this.
classmates together. We used to throw paper at each other, and during Lucy Wexler's lectures, I would throw little beams of paper at them. They're like, "Hey, remember me? I'm still over here."
I'm still over here.
Hey.
I outscored you on the last test.
You did. You did.
Yeah, so that's basically where it is. We're gonna end right now. Hopefully this is helping you out. Again, if you have questions, reach out to us. There's a whole bunch of people out there in Monarch World who are out to help and who are willing to work with everybody. From everything from clinical questions to interview questions to, hey, does this tie go with this shirt?
Correct. Absolutely.
We're
Whatever
here.
it is.
Let's all stick together. Let's move on with our heads up, and let's do good things, and let's go on to the next adventure together.
I think if anybody's available, Dan and I are going to be hosting kind of a little soiree, I guess we're going to say, from 4 to 9 to Friday here at Monarch Education. We're going to have a bunch of people here. We're going to help you go over oral interview questions. We're going to help you go over mega codes. We're going to get you clinically prepped. We're going to have some people here to help with CISD and Genesis. We have extra rooms. We were given carte blanche to use the building for whatever we need it for.
Yeah.
So if you need to go in a separate room and talk to somebody.
And thank you for that,
Yeah.
because that was really
That's a big
help.
deal. That's a big deal. But what do we say all the time? Stay safe out there and be good to each other.
Take care of each other.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Do better.
Do better.